Hello, this is Damian Katz. I'm the Director of Library Technology at Villanova University and the Community Manager for the VuFind project. And I'm here today to talk to you about what's new and what's changed in VuFind 10.2. VuFind 10.2 is a relatively small release, but we put it out because there are some changes coming in 11.0 that require some preparation, caused in large part by unavoidable changes to the Laminas ecosystem. And this release is here primarily to smooth that transition, but it also adds a few significant features. So let's start by talking about those new features. They include support for authenticating using the OpenID Connect protocol, which allows you to do single sign-on with a variety of external services. A new interactive command line menu, which allows you to access all of our command line utilities through nested menus, which prompt you for required arguments and list available options. This is a useful way to build commands if you're not really familiar with them already, and to make command line interaction more comfortable for people who aren't yet familiar with that environment. There's also a new config setting, which can be used to turn off the permanent link control on record pages. This is the permanent link setting in config.ini, so that's now easier to get rid of if you don't need or want it. And as in every release, there's a variety of minor bug fixes, dependency updates, and translation improvements. So now on to the changes. And the most significant one is the one I alluded to, which is related to changes in Laminas. And that major change is the Asset Manager View Helper. So as you may be aware, and if you're not, you might want to learn more, VuFind includes a feature called the Asset Pipeline. What this does is it collects together all of the external assets served up by VuFind, like JavaScript and CSS, and it combines them together into a smaller number of files, and it compresses them. This is intended to be turned on in production mode. It will make your site serve up faster to your users. But in order to implement this functionality, we had to customize some of the view helpers provided by Laminas so that they could collect the assets and provide them to our pipeline. Unfortunately, the most recent version of the Laminas view library makes it impossible to customize the provided helpers. So our existing solution is simply no longer technically feasible. In order to solve this problem, we just created our own new view helper called the Asset Manager. So now, instead of using Laminas functions to add assets to your VuFind, you need to use the Asset Manager. And in Release 11, the Asset Manager will be the only way to do this. But as I said, 10.2 is here to smooth the transition. So the old ways will still work, but we have introduced the Asset Manager as a wrapper so that you can begin to use it in your templates, and then those templates will continue to work correctly when you upgrade to VuFind 11. So if you have a lot of custom templates, particularly those that use custom CSS or JavaScript, or inline scripts for that matter, then I recommend upgrading to 10.2 now, converting all of your templates, and then you'll have significantly less work to do when you get to 11. The table on screen shows some of the conversions that you'll need to do. Things like if you're using the head style helpers append style method, you instead will want to use the Asset Manager append style string, and so forth. You can also find this table in the changelog on the VuFind wiki if you need to refer back to it in the future. Besides that major change, there are also a few other things that have been updated here. One is that we've upgraded to the latest version of Solr. If you're using the previous release of VuFind, you may have noticed that your Solr is complaining that it's more than a year old and saying that you should upgrade. Well, if you go to VuFind 10.2, you will get the latest Solr. Just be aware that when you upgrade Solr, you also need to reindex all of your records, so plan for that. We've made a change that EDS searches no longer support blank queries. This is because the EDS API itself has changed to no longer allow blank queries. Apparently, the rise in crawler bots on the internet has made that functionality too expensive, so it has been shut down. And this release will bring VuFind up to date so that it recognizes that you can't do that and will appropriately inform your users. We've discontinued inclusion of several SMS gateways that no longer work. If you use the text this feature, you'll have noticed that there's a drop-down menu of different providers, and several of those providers no longer provide email to text gateways, so we don't include them in the configuration because they don't work. We've significantly revised the trigger print JS script, which is used to support VuFind's print functionality. If you've customized that, you may need to adjust your custom code. If you haven't customized it, you can just enjoy the fact that it now works better. There were also a couple of very minor database-related changes. The My Research Controller's set saved flag securely method has a slightly different signature, and we've added a new method to the search service interface called delete search. It's unlikely that you've locally customized anything that's impacted by these changes, but they are technically backward breaking, so I mention them for the sake of completeness. And that's really it. I just wanted to highlight some resources that I highlight in every one of these videos. First of all, I have a separate video showing the technique that I use to upgrade using Git, which can save some time if you have a lot of custom configurations and templates. And the same method is also documented in this blog post here. It's more than a 10-year-old post, but it remains valid, and I've been using it successfully for all this time. And don't worry about typing out that link. You should find a link to these slides wherever you found this video. You can get the link there. And if you have any further questions or comments, you can, of course, reach out to me. My email address is here on screen, or you can find me at Damian Katz on the Open Library Foundation Slack, which is now the official home of all VuFind-related discussion. I hope you have success in your next VuFind upgrade, and let me know if I can help you. Thanks.